Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Drop a like on the video. Be sure to sub. We got a lot to talk about today. And I actually was kind of inspired by your guys' comments last night. So thank you for like all the fucking comments on every single ramble. It's actually insane. I love going through it. Most of them I like going through. So thank you guys for all the suggestions. I do want to point out two in particular. One especially, which kind of spawned the idea entirely. And this has probably been thought up by some of you, probably. And it might have even been an idea at some point. I can't see myself being the only person that's ever really thought about this. So I'm really excited to talk about this. Two different ideas. And I first want to bring up the thumbnails that kind of inspired it. So let's check out this one. This one's by Richard. He said, ballistas are 7-tick weapons, and you're going to turn them into 3-tick. Isn't that a little bit fucking OP? And I said, yes, that would be extremely OP. Because I do remember heavy ballista just has a bit, like it has a tiny little strength bonus. It's like, I think 15 or something. And yeah, that would, yeah, like there's obviously would have to be some balancing around it. But then I came to a thought in my head, and you guys are, listen, let's just take a step back real quick. These are like ideas that kind of came out in my mind like literally this morning. So there is going to be problems with it. And I want to hear what you guys would like to see maybe different or altered or whatever down in the comments below, guys. Now, when I saw this, I thought, yeah, that is a good point. Like I still want some sort of ballista that can just be fucking dominant, you know? Oh my god, there's a dragon impling. No fucking shot. No shot. I'm sorry, guys. Come on, be an elite. Be an elite clue. God damn it. Alright, so we'll take the GP, I guess. So I wrote down a few notes, and I want to talk about it. So this ballista will actually be a stationary ballista. So it's a brand new ballista that would come out from some random boss. And it's stationary, so it would be sort of like a cannon, but it's not exactly like a cannon. This stationary ballista would be a 1x1 tile. It would take 9 ticks to set up, so like initially set up. So it's kind of like setting up your cannon. You know, you got this massive ballista just in this one place. You got to set it all up, set up all the components, and then you're on this fucking ballista, two-handed. You can't have anything else equipped in your hands, and you just sit there and you shoot a 3-tick ballista at anything. But you can't move. So you are stationed there. Like your player is stationed there. Not just the ballista. You have to be on the ballista to shoot it. And you would just, you know, you red click your targets, whatever. You start attacking. But if they lose line of sight, like you're fucked, you know. So there is a lot of downsides. You cannot move. And the monster can still approach you and attack you, you know, unless you're like in a little safe spot place. Now... There's probably some fucking issues with that. But this would be an extremely powerful weapon that would have a lot of downsides. You can't move. What else did I write down? So it can be placed anywhere where a cannon can be placed. And it is a 1x1, so I guess you know how a cannon needs to have a 3x3 area. This could obviously be in like little tight corners as well. Your guy would need to be on that tile as well. But it can't be used anywhere, obviously. First of all, there would be, if there was any like high level content, I can't even see there being a use for it really, because you're always having to move or something. But this would be something where you could use it for like Slayer, or I don't know, if you're camping like wyverns or brutal black dragons, or just like doing random shit where you just don't really need to move. Also, I gotta say this, telekinetic grab needs to be goddamn fixed. That spell is so fucking useless because it's so clunky. It was made back when the Gowers were making this game, and like, you know, they were just trying to spill out content, and dude, telekinetic grab is like the most painful, aggravating thing to ever use. If you know what, let me know down in the comments. If you're not going to comment, like, just let me know, when is the last time you literally used telekinetic grab? Genuinely. That spell has so much potential, and it would have so much potential if your dude wasn't hard locked in place for like 5 full ticks, watching the fucking purple ball go pick up the item and back. Also, it takes so goddamn long to just get there. I would love to see telekinetic grab be like a one-shot, and then you're free to go. Like, you cast it, it's a one-shot. Sure, the little purple ball can like travel, but wherever you've moved in that time, the item will just insta appear in your inventory. You don't have to have like Well, maybe the ball could come back, I guess, but it would follow you. You're not like hard locked, you know? Anyway, so they should really fix that because I feel like with this sort of stationary ballista, the telekinetic grab will be your best fucking friend. And right now, it's absolutely dreadful to use. So now you can set up that. I'm like, I just love that I'm just sharing this shit and you're like, what? Like, what is happening? There's got to be some of you that are like, what are you smoking? No, but let me know what you guys think about this. Should this idea be entirely scrapped? It's whatever, but hear me out for the rest of it. So, it takes 3 ticks. I'm just pulling out numbers out of my ass. It takes 3 ticks to like dismount yourself from it. So that's not like you can just constantly be like on and off, you know. It's supposed to kind of keep you there. It takes 3 ticks to station yourself back on and 3 ticks to station back off. You can have it camped there, but you can't fire it unless you're on it. You understand? So, and if you for some reason keep it there, it would act like a cannon where it eventually despawns. Now, some of you might be thinking, this is broken in PvP. Well, first of all, you can't use this thing against players. That was honestly the big problem with the crazy 3-tick ballista that I just briefly mentioned in my previous ramble. Like, obviously, it would be fucking busted in PvP. But this would not be able to be used in PvP. It would simply be only... it could only shoot monsters and... free to reclaim if despawned. Now, there was one more thing. I'm trying to think of certain situations where this could be extremely busted. Or someplace, I don't know. Just let me know down in the comments because obviously I'm just one brain. I'm just trying to think of scenarios where this could be just absolutely horrible for the game. But you guys can let me know. It definitely would bring back javelins. I'll tell you that much. Like, javelins would actually have a goddamn use. And it'd be kind of fun. Just, like, it's such a unique weapon. It probably wouldn't feel too old school. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'll just straight up bring that up. It's definitely a different class of weapon entirely. But that would just come from a boss down the line. Now, that's all I really want to talk about, the stationary ballista. The other thing I want to bring up is this, which is something that Spooksky mentioned, and it kind of just spawned some ideas in my head. So he said, farming, harvest, yield, bonus prayer, like magic second tiers, thieving, pickpocket, chest, lick pocket, increase, prayer, and run energy, restore prayer, drains prayer while restoring run energy, blah, blah, blah. Or not blah, blah, blah. This guy, you know, he spawned some ideas in my brain. And then I thought, you know what? There's been a lot of talk about a new prayer book or multiple prayer books. And they usually kind of, I don't know, they're usually combat centered, like curses. And so I didn't play RS3 back then, but the people want like the RS3 prayers and some other crazy shit, but it would be like less defensive and more offensive, which I do like. I think we could easily have some more prayer books. Now, I was sat up this morning kind of thinking about, what about a utility prayer book? And I know a lot of you guys have potentially thought about that before. I don't think it's ever really been fleshed out. I'd love to see a fleshed out idea if somebody ever posted it to Reddit or whatnot. But I want to talk about a few things that this utility prayer book could offer. And you guys will have to let me know down in the comments if some are absolutely unbelievably busted, some are not busted enough, or, you know, whatever. So I just have a massive list. It's literally on my notes. It's just like I'm going crazy. Anyway, so I want to kind of go over it. I will also kind of share why I think these things should be used. So first thing, it's kind of spawned by this idea by Spooksky, which is a prayer that increases your farming yield. So I suggested a 5%, 10%, and 15%. Those numbers can obviously be changed, whatever is appropriate. But basically with I don't know, like 30 prayer, you now have a 5% chance when that prayer is turned on. So you'd obviously have to turn on the prayer, pick your herbs. Now you're getting a 5% chance increase. And then there would be another additional one, maybe at like level 50, that's 10%. And then at level 70, a 15%. And that's where it would cap out. So 5, 10, and 15%. Extra yield at any farming patch. The other thing I'd love to see is a 5, 10, or 15% extra chance of skilling clues. Now, when you're chopping a tree, fishing, doing and mining, it would be kind of cool to have like a little prayer here that's a 5%, 10%, or 15% extra chance of getting, you know, a clue bottle or a clue geode. So you could use that in conjunction with skilling. So obviously you'd have to switch spell books, or not spell books, prayer books. Turn that on if you're a clue fiend. Now, it's not a crazy buff where you feel obligated to use it, but if you really are wanting to, you just, turn on the prayer. Now, with these prayers, it's obviously lowering your prayer. So this would require, prayer pots potentially, or, having to go back to your POH or whatnot. So this would kind of lessen the, efficiency, I guess, a little bit, unless you just are always across an altar or something like that, or you have like a player giving you prayer. Now, I would also love to see a 5, 10, or 15% higher success rate of pickpocketing and lockpicking. And that would stack with the Arceus spell and dodgy necklaces. So now you just got this fucking powerhouse of just like, you're like, ugh, like you can't fail hardly. I mean, you'll still fail all the time if you're doing like elves or Vyres, but for the most part, this would be like an additional buff that would just make thieving a little bit less tedious. 15% extra would be really nice. And of course, it would be draining your prayer, so you'd have to have a few more prayer pots, or, whatever you're doing. If you're praying redemption to heal up, that would be a different story. You could just have that in conjunction. I think that's a cool idea. Maybe it's I don't know. You just let me know down in the comments. I'll just read all these. You guys let me know if there's a problem with it. Now, here's one that's kind of interesting. What if there was a 5, 10, and 15% chance? And again, these 5, 10, 15s are just something I came out with just so there's like a little bit of variance. So you don't have to have super high prayer. So like lower level accounts, kind of newbier, can still use like the smaller prayer. This one would be a 5, 10, or 15% chance of doubling runes crafted at an altar. Yes. So you'd have that prayer turned on, and let's just say you had the 10% one. Every 10 laps, you would, on average, get the chance of doubling your rune output. Now, we've already seen a crazy rune crafting update, which obviously made runes crafted per hour a lot higher. But you guys can let me know, is that something you guys would like to see? The other thing is a 5% chance. This would only be 5% chance to save a bone at an altar. So keep in mind, though, you could use this at the Chaos Altar, but you would only be able to have one prayer book, which obviously you couldn't have protect item. So if you're using like the full outfit and you're using protect item to save that piece of your zealot outfit, you can't really use that. But you could have a prayer, and this is obviously you're using it directly at an altar, so you could just use this indefinitely. I mean, it's not like you're just sitting at an altar forever. You're obviously teleporting out and getting new bones, but this would have an additional additive or multiplicative, am I saying that right? Dear God. Chance at saving a bone at the altar. So it's just like an additional thing. I don't feel like there really is a need for that, but like at the same time, I'm just throwing out ideas just to get them out there. And I would also love to see, and this is already in the game as well, a 5% chance of creating a 4-dose potion. And this would stack with the Amulets of Chemistry. So if you guys have ever used Amulets of Chemistry, there's a 1 in 20 shot of one of your potions. Instead of being a 3-dose when you make it, it becomes a 4-dose. And it works with like staminas and all those things where you're just like making 1 dose as they go to 2 doses. Those are not worth, by the way. Like, it's just not worth doing that. The amount of time, I know it was the tangent. The amount of time it would take for you to like get all your staminas or all your like super energies into 1 doses and then use your Amulets of Chemistry just to save that little bit extra. You could just run a few more Arty laps and get some XP for it. You know what I mean? Anyway. So yeah, I would love to see an additional. So when you stack the prayer with the Amulet of Chemistry, now it's a 1 in 10 shot of, doing that. And I don't know what the prayer levels would be for any of these. That would obviously be subject to whatever is appropriate and whatever like you guys would think. The other thing I would like to see is a spell. This might be a little bit controversial, but a spell that can increase, or sorry, not a spell. What am I saying? A prayer that when turned on, it would sort of be like a preserve prayer, sort of like all of these kind of things are kind of like a preserve prayer in a way. But it's a prayer that when on, you casting alchemy is 1 tick faster. So if you're just trying to get rid of your alks and stuff, and maybe you're just like, I don't know where people alch their stuff, but this would make it so you can cast alchemy every 4 ticks instead of every 5 ticks. It's very niche. I don't know if that's even appropriate, but you guys can let me know. Now, here's one that I would absolutely love to see. A prayer that will give you a 25% extra chance to pass an agility obstacle. Have you guys ever dealt with the frustration of going from 60 to 70 or 60 to 80 agility at Sears course and falling off that fucking roof every fucking time. This prayer, I'm only saying 25%. It could be 50% or even higher. This prayer, when on, will allow you that extra little boost of success to pass the obstacle. So I think this would be a fantastic prayer for a lot of different situations. Obviously the 25% that I mentioned could be changed. There could also be different tiers of it. I could just imagine somebody's like a low prayer level and they just want that little bit of extra stuff so they get a little bit higher agility XP per hour when trying to train their agility. Let me know. Here's a cool prayer. This has nothing really to do with skilling, but I just thought it spawned in my brain, and I thought it would be kind of cool to share. So, a prayer that acts as a ring of Charis, or Charis, or whatever you pronounce that ring as, and it acts as a ring of visibility. So, if you guys have ever gone and been doing your elite clue scrolls or whatever you're doing your master clue where you have to go talk to that guy that's a ghost. First of all, this would act as a ring of visibility, this prayer, just simply by turning it on, it would act as it. And it would also act as a ring of Charis. So any place where you need that ring of Charis, Skullball or getting to Dragontooth Island, I believe, if you haven't paid all the Ecto tokens, this would just be a prayer to bypass all that shit. And you know what I would also love to see? When I was thinking of this, I thought, you know what's really stupid is that you still need to pay, even like as an account as progressed as mine, like you still have to pay those charter ship people money to charter the boat. Who the hell is carrying around gold pieces with them at all times, you know? So I think it would be really cool as if a ring of Charis and then obviously this prayer would act as a free destination between charters. It's not like I really use charters, but charters are really useless, and I try to avoid them at all costs simply because you need like coins and stuff. I'd also love to see that kind of go along with all sorts of travel. There's one boat actually right here. This boat, it's called a boatie or a swamp boatie, and it costs 10 GP. Like this guy could be charging 10K or 100K and people would still well, maybe not 100K, but he could literally charge it at 10K and people would still use it. But this idiot is living back in fucking 2001 thinking 10 GP is a lot. So this guy requires you 10 GP to board the boat all the way up to, it's like right here, I guess. And then you can run and do like your master clue step right here or your elite. That is so incredibly obnoxious. The fact that when you're geared up for clues, you are not bringing GP with you. And then this motherfucker requires 10 GP. Get rid of that. Like, let the Ring of Charis, like, act as that. Or this new prayer that could just be like, hey, I pretty much got a Ring of Charis on. Let me bypass this shit. So let me know what you guys think about that. Now, was my guy not... Huh? Did I not even click the spot? I don't know what's happening. Okay. One thing I'd like to see as well is a little prayer that would allow you to swim underwater without flippers. Sorry, allow you to swim quickly underwater, as fast as running underwater without flippers. So you just have your utility prayer book camped, and you go down underwater and you figure out your flippers, but you're like, hey, I'll just use this prayer, and then you're going. Also, underneath, where is this place? Underneath fishing trawler, there's a place where you go under and you have to like pick up those 5 pebbles and get under there with the elite clue step. I would love to see, first of all, even with flippers equipped, you have to be like slowly swimming in this place. I don't know why they've still never updated this. Please, Jagex, please make it so you can swim quickly under the water with flippers. If a utility prayer book were to come out, that'd be cool as well, just to have like a little prayer that allows you to swim quickly underwater without them. The other thing I'd like to see is, and we already got this with Giant's Foundry, of course, is a 50% extra chance of saving a tick at anvils. So it would stack with the outfit. Every other, on average, thing you smith at an anvil would be sped up again by 1 more tick. So, again, this could be like a high-level prayer, maybe like upper 80s or something that's just like, you'd want to have high prayer for this. All of this stuff is subject to, whatever prayer level is appropriate. And yeah, so I'd like to see that. This next idea would probably be really high prayer, is a prayer that would allow you to not cook at 4 tick speed, but to cook at 3 tick speed. So currently, when you're at a fire and you're burning your fish or whatever, it's every 4 ticks. The first one is 3 tick, and then it goes to 4 tick, just for the rest of your inventory. I would like to see a prayer that, when prayed, it would speed up cooking by 1 extra tick. Might be busted, although I don't really think it could be busted because Karam ones can already be 1 ticked, and I'm pretty sure that's already like the fastest. So I don't think it would change any metas. Obviously, it would just help you to cook faster slightly. Again, just chucking out ideas. I'm just spewing them at you guys. Hope you guys don't mind. Now, going back to the 5, 10, 15% chance, I thought, you know what? You know what would be kind of cool is a 5, 10, or 15% extra chance, or sorry, not extra chance, just a chance of getting an extra Chinchampa when catching Chinchampas, or an extra herb when doing Herbivore. So you'd have your utility Prayerbook out, and you're just camping that prayer. Probably doesn't drain. All of these prayers, by the way, don't drain prayer quickly, probably. Although, some that are really OP could drain it a lot quicker, just you're constantly having to renew with prayer pots. This would offer 5, 10, or 15% chance of getting an additional chin or an additional herb when doing Herby. Let me know what you guys think about that. And here's a prayer. Okay, so do you guys remember on Reddit where Jagex was offering I think it was Kieran that was really like heading the idea of pubs being able to restore your run energy, and how tedious run energy is as a noob without energy pots or staminas. This would be a utility prayer that would allow you 50% extra run duration when turned on. So you turn it on and your prayer goes down 50% slower. And it could be used in conjunction with staminas. Every player could use it. Doesn't matter if you're on staminas or not. It just would increase that slightly. I think it would be the most beneficial for early level accounts. And you know what's kind of cool about this is I've always thought what would be insane is, how you can 1-tick prayers and never drain your prayer? I always thought what would be cool is if you could oh, sorry, you guys can't even see my cursor. I was just thinking, just turn off my face cam real quick. So you can 1-tick flick your prayers right here. What if you could 1-tick flick your run energy and never drain run energy? Anyway, that's a very silly idea, of course, but it was something I was kind of thinking about. But then this prayer kind of came into my mind, and I was like, oh, you could 1-tick flick this run energy prayer, sort of like if you're doing quests or something and you only have 1 prayer point left, but you want to maintain that little bit of run energy left, you could just start 1-tick flicking your your quick prayers, and you could just get that little bit extra run. So I thought it was a sort of cool idea. Now, one thing, this is kind of the last idea I have, is a magical sort of myth grapple. I don't know how the hell this would work out, but right now, shortcuts using the myth grapple are almost never used. First of all, they're fucking slow. You have to literally watch your dude load up and shoot the thing, and then you get on this other platform, and then you have to walk, and then you have to shoot down the thing, and within that time you could have just ran around the entire goddamn gate. So first of all, there's a problem with the myth grapple. That shit needs to be instantaneously. If you want to make shortcuts good, you got to make them short. So I thought what would be cool is, instead of constantly having to have a myth grapple on hand, first of all, add more myth grapple shortcuts, but then you'd have this utility prayer that when turned on, you just have a ghost, a sort of ghost myth grapple, sort of. So when it's on, you just click on the shortcut and you have this ghost myth grapple that can just travel you across, so you don't need to constantly have it on you. So anyway, those are my ideas right now. Now, before anything, I kind of want to share how you would get this utility prayer. Now, I'm not going to say what the source of it would be, maybe just some new quest that allows you it, but what I don't want to see is you having to go to a certain altar or something and changing it, and that's the only way to change it. I would personally love to see a physical book, sort of like the Book of the Dead, that would allow you to just be hey, I want to switch prayer books. And it would have a little bit of a delay, maybe a 4-tick delay of just opening up your goddamn book, similar to spellbook swapping. Something where you can't just instantaneously switch your prayers, but it's something at least convenient enough where you could use your utilities, then you get to a combat situation, and then with the right click of the book, you just be like, hey, I want to switch my prayer book now. Anyway, that's all I really have to say about that. So I know I just absolutely just chucked a bunch of ideas at you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I love reading all the comments. It's great to just see your guys' creativity, and it's just fun. I think a lot of these ideas, the more we talk about creative ideas like this, the more excitement I personally get, and the more I kind of look forward to the future of updates. If people aren't talking about new things coming out in the game starts feeling stagnant. And we need these ideas flowing, in my personal opinion. I think it's healthy for the game. So I love hearing your guys' ideas. Drop them down in the comments. Be sure to like the video if you forgot to at the beginning. And sub if you want to watch more rambles. I have been uploading these quite frequently. And I want to continue to upload them frequently. Also, little secret, by the way. We might be getting Mole Goat Kirby on the Saybay cast before Sick Nerds. Sick Nerds planned for next week, I think around Thursday. I think I'm going to try to squeeze in Mole Goat Kirby on this Sunday, literally in 3 days from now. So look out for a tweet, probably tomorrow, potentially. Now, this is not set in stone, of course, but follow my Twitter down below. Follow my Twitch as well, and you guys will be updated, basically, if that's going to happen. But I'm really excited. Mole Goat Kirby's such a goddamn beast. Just like watching his... I don't know, just like he can just sit down for 40 fucking hours and just grind out one world record time. Like right now he's been doing Grotesque Guardians. He uploaded something on Twitter of him like just getting a tick slower than tying the world record at Grotesque. And it's just fun to watch, you know. Like it's incredibly tedious. Most players would hate to do that kind of shit. Like it's fun to watch. Anyway, so I'm definitely looking forward to talking to him. I'm not sure exactly if it's going to be planned on Sunday, but potentially. Anyway, guys, that's all I have today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.